Rachel Reeves has no reason or excuse to raise taxes and is presiding over an economic con, Jeremy Hunt has declared. The Chancellor is set to hike inheritance tax and capital gains tax in the October budget after fueling government borrowing costs with her public sector pay bonanza. Ms. Reeves is expected to ignore better-than-expected growth figures, improving retail sales and low inflation, and inflict more pain on cash-strapped families. Shadow Chancellor Jeremy Hunt told the Daily Express, Rachel Reeves is still committed to her economic con, regardless of the evidence. Just last week, we saw two sets of positive economic news, with inflation remaining low and GDP figures confirming that our strong and resilient economy continues to grow, with some economists even describing it as gangbusters. But what has the Chancellor's response been? To continue to try and talk down the economy in a desperate attempt to bend reality to try and fit her narrative. Shouldn't it be a Chancellor's job to promote the UK economy? These are tax rises that she has planned right from the beginning, but simply did not have the courage to tell the British public about during the election. So as she continues to lay the ground for tax rises, one thing is clear: when they are finally revealed, it will be a complete and total betrayal of the British public. She will not be forgiven for it. Labour's economic credibility has been heavily questioned since the Chancellor claimed there was a £22 billion black hole in the public finances, only to then hand out inflation-busting pay rises to millions of workers. And shock new figures revealed the public sector pay increases fueled a rise in government borrowing. The Office for National Statistics, ONS, said public sector net borrowing stood at £3.1 billion last month, £1.8 billion more than a year ago, and the highest July borrowing since 2021. Labour's Treasury team tried to exploit these figures, claiming they were further proof of the dire economic situation they inherited. So far this financial year, the government has borrowed £51.4 billion, which is £4.7 billion more than the OBR predicted. The spending watchdog said higher pay deals for public sector workers were a key factor. And the figures do not include a 22% pay hike for junior doctors and a 14% rise for train drivers. Economists have predicted Ms. Reeves will try and raise an additional £10 billion through taxes.